the judge's petition part. I'm going to talk about that because that'll confuse you guys. But the basis of it, the first thing that you need to do, and the things that I did, was first of all, when I sent that cease and desist order within 7 days, because usually Florida responds really, really fast. Most states respond pretty fast to those any complaints that you file or so forth. So I sent the submit. I just wanted to see the how they're gonna respond to the fraud, because you got to understand that everything about the child support, child custody is breaking all of your constitutional rights. You have no rights when you go in these courts. But before I get into all of the politics, I just want to keep this video very, very, very basics. Knowing that hiring an attorney does not do any type of justice when you're dealing with child support and child custody issues, because attorney, one, keeps you in dishonor. Two, an attorney is an officer of the court, and so he automatically submits you to jurisdiction, which puts you in a losing position before you even start. You're in a losing position. You're in dishonor, and it gives the judge and the whole entire court system freedom to rule over you in these processes. And the reason that the state has a lot of jurisdiction over you, either because you don't have any rights, and the reason that they can put it a default judgment in the first place in the event that you do not show up or anything like that, is because they have a birth certificate of you and your child, which gives them more power over your children, your families, than you do, because they're pledged as securities backed by the birth certificate and so forth, which makes you the custodial parents, and the state has more reign than you. So you have to understand the deception and the fraud and the foolery and all of that from like so deep. It's really deep, but if you get into it, it's very simple, it's very basic. So you have to understand that everything that you do in the public is business. So we help you guys protect your legacy. Your legacy includes your family name, your assets, your businesses, your property, your children, and everything that your royalty, equities, everything dealing with your inheritance that you're leaving within this earth, whether you're leaving it to your heirs, your children, whoever, whatever, your whole entire legacy, your estate, your trust, all of it pertains to your legacy. And so we help you protect that from financial predators, all of the corrupted officials, including attorneys, and also abusers, because my situations led me in court dealing with a lot of narcissists. And my child's father was a complete noble, dark narcissist. And so I understand all of the components of it, guys. And the justice system does not help you out. It does not. It's not in your favor when you're dealing in these processes, when you're dealing with these court procedures. And everyone, the first thing that you need to file, whether you were served from the other person's attorney, whether you've been served child support papers, whether it's public or by the state, which is public assistance or whatever, or whether it's or whether wherever you are in your process, is the most important document that you need to file. I don't care what state, what jurisdiction you're in, you need to file a jurisdictional document. What is a jurisdictional document? The basis of a jurisdictional document says, I am a human, living soul, breathing spirit person. I am not a corporate, some type of affidavit of truth, because the only way to really beat these things is by knowing who you are. You're God. You're under God's law, not man's law. Everything in the public is business. They are contracting with you because they're using you as a company or corporation. When you look up the definition of a person on any state constitution, state bylaws of your state, of the federal level, they have you as a tax agency, an insurance agency, an estate, a trust, a proprietorship, a corporation. You are every single thing except for a human being person. And so you need to be in your proper person when you are going in these courts. And that puts you under God's law and not man law. And so you go in there, and that is how you will win your particular procedure. Now, these people do not like you coming in there being smart. I had a judge do all types of corruption. He even took Like, I literally had no rights to my child. None. Now, how can I be the mother of a child that didn't cause no negligence, didn't do any harm, didn't do anything, but because I decided to leave the state because I was in a situation with dealing with abuse, and I just needed space, and I wasn't trying to take my daughter away from him. I wasn't trying to do any of those. I just needed to get away, clear my head, and figure out what was the next step, because it was just a bunch of abuse, and it was just crazy. And so, you know, now coming through all of these transitions, and I understand spirituality, because a big part of these things is a part of law. Man, you cannot have man-made law without spiritual laws. And regardless of whether it's positive or negative, however you're looking at the situation, everything, when I look back at it, when I look through at my birth chart, when I looked at my natal chart, when I look at my daughter's natal chart, everything that I've ever went through was in the natal chart. The court process is me losing her and him having, like, everything is in your natal chart. Nothing is happening right now, and nothing is happening in your life, that is not supposed to be happening. And yeah, this is just a lesson. This is an eye opener. And so anybody that is going through these situations, I am very compassionate. I have been there. I've been through it. I've been through the criminal system, dealing with that. I have dealt with, because I'm not the type of person where I'm the sweetest person. I'm very submissive. I have God's energy, very loving, friendly, loving, mind my business, just, peaceful type of person. But what you can do when you are infringing upon my freedom, when you are trying to control me and instill me and subjugate me to fear, and that's how narcissists do. They operate in fear, just like listen to me, the United States corporation, which is so-called the government, which is DBA, is also all of these subsidiary agencies and states, federal, and all these different things that they operate in. Their whole entire infrastructure, their whole entire system, and all of their organizations, de facto corporations, sister companies, all of them operates to instill fear, because fear is an entire industry. And narcissists go hand in hand with that, because narcissists operate in fear and under fear, and they'll do anything to control you, anything to subjugate you to fear. And the minute that you no longer are going, on their side, taking their position, or have another view, these people will do anything and everything to subjugate you to fear. And if they have power and they have money, they could be nuances, and they could be, they can cause a lot of destruction in your life. And so we help you fight back spiritually, mentally, physically. We give you warrior strategies. We help you live private, because when you are married, or whether you're not married or not, these people hire attorneys, I haven't used a social security number in years. And so like that, because it's still to this day, my narcissist continues to hire his attorney to check on me, even with, having the whole entire case, or anything that we, ever started was, from his abuse. And so, these systems do not favor you. You cannot trust that these systems will, you go and turn into these systems as if they're going to help you or anything like that, because that is not the case. This system is set up to destroy families, and to profit, and to make money, and to subjugate you to fear, because they're superior and you're inferior. I don't give a fuck what your race is, but the color of your skin does also make it worse sometimes, and with you fighting, even when you come in as your proper person, like the whole entire everything in the public is fraud. But I don't want to I don't want to get into the technicalities on this video. I just wanted to jump on and share with you guys a brief overview of the first thing that you can do if you want to expose the fraud in your state. The first thing that you can do is do what I did the first time. But because I just wanted to expose the fraud, because I understood my constitutional rights. When you understand the Bill of Rights, and you look up each state's constitution, and you see that you have free will, and they cannot boast their government on you unless you do not. If you don't have any rights in these systems, in these corporate, in when you're going into courts, there is no rights. You have to invoke your rights. If you don't invoke your rights, you're not going to get them. And, you know, ignorance of the law is no excuse. The judges always quote that. They always say that. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. And so just because you don't know, and you don't know, if you don't invoke your rights, you don't invoke your rights. You won't have any. And so when you understand what your rights are under God's law, under common law, and, you know, all these different things, when you start invoking your rights, when you start reading, understanding the Bill of Rights, you understand that everything that they're doing is illegal and unlawful. And so, you know, the first thing I remember, the first document that I sent it to the Attorney General of Florida, which I believe was Pam. I think it's somebody now. It's a different lady now. Her name is Moody or something like that. But you send it to her, and then I took the head of the Department of Revenue Child Support Division. Now, mine was private. I had arrears, all kinds of stuff. They awarded him this big, huge payment that I had to pay, plus arrears, plus the $12,000 arrears or whatever. They awarded him this crap, even without me having a job at the time. And I had just finished my bachelor's degree or whatever, and I was looking, it was hard. Well, anyway, it was crazy. And so I wanted to expose the fraud. So I sent a cease and desist letter, and I sent it to, and I also, on the cease and desist, I did it as an affidavit, a jurisdictional document, letting them know that I am not their fucking property. I am not subjugated. I'm not a slave, and all these different things or whatever. But it was a cease and desist. Immediately within like 7 days, I got a response saying I attached the case number, because your case number, most likely if you got a custody case, you got a child support case, they're all the same number, the same case number. So in Florida, so I got, within like 7 days, they responded and they were saying they didn't have that number. They don't know what I was talking about, blah, blah, blah. That lets you know. So you have to have the mindset and the spirituality to read through their bullshit, because you know it's bullshit. Like, what do you mean you don't? I gave you everything that you could possibly, everything, the case number, the county that was in. I gave you everything, the judge's name. I gave you everything. So don't tell me you don't know. So you begin to expose the fraud, you guys. Like, you understand that how these people are operating. You understand that, I'm in the jurisdictional document is that just basically you telling them that you're not subjugated to their authority. Government is at the will of the people. And they cannot, everything that they're doing in these processes is illegal. You're not supposed to be in jail over a debt, but yet everything about these processes is because of a debt. Let you not pay. They're going to slap you with an attachment lien, warrant, and all these different things. So you have to understand the whole entire processes, and you understand that when you understand the Bill of Rights, when you understand that everything that they're doing is fucking fraud and exposing the fraud. And so this is, anytime you've been served from that the other party's attorney or anything like that, the first thing you need to file within 2 days, you need to file a jurisdictional document. I don't give a fuck what you're going through. File it. And when you show up in your proper person. That puts them on, no, you don't have jurisdiction over me, you don't have personal jurisdiction, and you do not have subject matter jurisdiction. And so this puts you in the power seat instead of a losing seat, because when you hire an attorney, it puts you in the losing seat, it puts you in dishonor, and no attorney can ever represent a human being person. It's always business. Now, I'll get into the technicalities of all of that on other videos to come, but this was just a breakdown. The first thing that you can do in any child support, child custody issues is to file a jurisdictional document to let them know you're not, and you're going to use the power of the Bill of Rights to do so. You're going to state who you are. You're not a citizen. You're not a slave. You're not you're not a person. You're not a franchise. You're not any of the things because if you look up the definition on each state statute, it tells you clearly what a person is. And a person that they're saying is nothing as a human being person. They're transacting you as if you are a business. And you need to understand that. You need to understand that. And you are basically saying I'm not your property. My child is not your property. You don't have subject matter jurisdiction over me. You do not have personal jurisdiction. You don't have subject matter nor personal jurisdiction. And so that is the first thing that you declaring. You're declaring your sovereignty. That is your sovereign power that puts you under God's law. And so that is what you're doing. Those are the things, and these are the steps that you need to take in fighting back and proclaiming your power, in showing up in your proper person, not ProSe. It is Propria Persona. They love to say ProSe because ProSe means to proceed. No, you do not want to proceed. You want to show up in your proper person. Your proper person puts you in the proper person, not the corporate fiction. All right, peace, guys.